Welcome to the webcast. It's my privilege to introduce contemporary romance author A.J. Harmon and our host for the webcast. A.J., welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here and excited to see that some of my romance writer friends and colleagues have joined us for this webcast. Thanks so much. I am going to introduce you to a member of my team, a very important member of my team, the marketing genius that helps me to enjoy the romance author lifestyle. He just happens to be my digital dom, and also my husband, Brad Harmon.
Thanks, boss. Most of AJ's readers know me as the muse for her first character of the dead husband in her first debut novel, First Class New York. But her friends and that are authors know me as the guy who stands behind the author, or the wind beneath her wings. A few even call me her lucky break.
Yeah, you're very funny. Very, very funny. But it's true. Most authors don't have access to a man with your skills, and I'm very lucky to have you. I didn't really appreciate my luck at first, but when I started meeting other authors who've been writing and publishing a lot longer than I have without reaching much success, I knew one of the things that made me different was that I had a Brad on my team. Now, I'm certainly not saying that I'm some huge success or anything. In fact, I'm still in the very early stages of my development as an author, but I've traveled farther and faster than a lot of other authors that I've met.
That's true. Let's face it, every author's dream is to have the best-selling author lifestyle, where they can work from wherever they want, travel the globe, and have a continuous stream of money flowing into their bank account. And they think that all it takes is just writing a good book and publishing it on Kindle, Nook, and iTunes, and then they can just sit back and watch it rise up the sales rankings until they have an Amazon bestseller, and then they can just wait, and soon they'll have their USA Today, New York Times, and Wall Street Journal bestseller, and then they can say, "Show me the money all the way to the bank." Is that your dream? Go ahead and type "that's my dream" in the chat box on the side of your screen if that's your dream.
Well, that is certainly my dream, that's for sure.
It is, and it's a lot of the dreams of the people that are on the webcast with us. Now, the sad fact is that it just doesn't work that way. Hundreds of thousands of quality books never sell more than a few books a month, while other books of lesser quality sell thousands of copies a year. Why? Well, we're going to answer that for you in just a few minutes. But first, I'd like to finish mapping out where we are in the industry today so that we can find the roadmap that leads us to where we want to go. Readers are simply overwhelmed. There we go. Over 328,000 new titles in the USA this year. 206,000 in the United Kingdom, according to the UN National Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization.
Or that's new books every year, Brad?
That's new books every year. Actually, that's this year, 2015.
Wow.
Or that means 1,464 new books every day for your book to compete with. That's on top of the 129 million books that have already been published. What does that mean? That means that there are 320 million people in the United States of America. And if each book was a person, we could move 1/3 of the population of the United States into Texas, and that 1,464 new people were moving into the state every day. How crowded would Texas be?
Too crowded for me.
How would you compete for a job or a house in Texas? How will you stand out in this huge crowd? Stand out enough to get noticed and have people come find you, find out what you're all about, let alone buy you as a book. That's a big job. Do you remember high school? Do you
Sadly,
remember?
I do.
Do you remember trying to stand out in high school? That was what, 300 to 3,000 people, depending on where you went to school. Let's face it, most of us were not even nominated for homecoming king or queen, let alone being elected. So how are you going to stand out in a crowd of 129 million people? I mean, a crowd of 129 million books. Still think you want to be an author?
Oh, yes, I do. I really, really, really want to be an author, but this is worrying, to say the least.
Well, there is some good news. In the nation of 320 million people, there are 64.6 million romance readers in the United States. That works out to be about 20% of the United States population. One author once said to me, if I only need to sell 1 million books and I'd be set for life. To sell 1 million books, you only need to convince 1.5% of all the romance readers in the United States to buy your book. You can do that, right? I mean, that's such a small number. It's only 1.5%.
Well, that's all I want. 1 million books sold in a year, and hey, I'd be good to go. I've reached, what is it, like 500,000 downloads, but it's taken me 3 years, and a lot of those were free downloads. So, you know, I had to get my name out there somehow. So I need to just double that number in sold books. Well,
Yes,
Brad, you better get busy, buddy.
yes, ma'am. I mean, it is possible. I mean, she did it. She sold 5.3 million copies. That's 8.3% of the United States romance readers. And didn't you once say that you could write a better love story in your sleep?
Well, I did. And I did attempt to prove that when I wrote my first book, First Class to New York. So I guess I just have to sell 1 million copies.
Yes, dear, I'm working on that. But let's talk a little bit about the big dog in the hunt, Amazon. In a recent letter from Authors United to the U.S. Justice Department, they cited these statistics, that Amazon controls the book market, with 75% of all physical books sold online coming from Amazon. 65% of all ebook sales are from Amazon. 40% of all new book sales are from Amazon. And 85% of self-published author sales come from Amazon. So let's face the facts. If you're going to sell books to make a living, Amazon is going to be a big part of your life. So from Amazon's own website, we can learn more about the challenges we're facing. There are 328,927 ebooks in the romance category.
Hey, I have 15 of those.
You do, with 11,753 new titles in the last 30 days.
I have one of those.
33,328 new titles in the last 90 days, with 3,059 already added to Amazon, ready to release very soon.
Are those like the pre-orders?
Those are like the pre-orders.
Okay.
Yep. That means that 370 of those 1,464 new books you have to compete with every day are actually in the romance genre. That's 370 new book boyfriends your books have to compete with just to get the romance readers' attention, let alone trying to sweep them off their feet or capture their hearts. Amazon recently published, well, I guess it was last year, January. They published their author earnings report of the top 120,000 best-selling books for 2014. We learned from this that this made up about 50% of Amazon's daily sales. That means that's 3% of the almost 4 million titles listed in Kindle are generating 50% of the daily sales. 3% are generating 50% of their daily sales.
So that means 97% is doing the other 50%.
Yes. 33% of all sales are indie author self-published ebooks. 20% of all the dollars spent on Amazon.com in the Kindle store are indie self-published authors. And 40% of all dollars earned are paid out to self-published indie authors. By mid-2014, indie published authors as a cohort began to take home the lion's share, 40% of all ebook author earnings generated on Amazon.com, while authors that published with the big 5 publishers, all of them combined, slipped down into second place at 35%. In the data file behind Amazon's report on the sales of the top 120,000 best-selling books in 2014, I learned, because it's in an Excel file, and I excel at Excel. You know that quite often I'm the smartest guy in the room?
I did know that, but that's usually because you're sitting in your office all by yourself.
Ooh, ouch, that's not nice. Anyway, what I learned from crunching all those numbers in that Excel file is that Amazon Kindle generates on average $1,318,052 a day in ebook sales. And they pay out to the top 10 titles or authors between $4,000 and $13,000 a day. That's a pretty good payday.
Now, is that like books 1 through 10 in the Kindle store?
Yep.
Okay.
For the year, that was their year average.
Oh, okay.
But if you divided that 1.3 million by the 120,000 titles that make up the top 50%, that only averages out to be $11 a day for the average author. But when you look just a little bit closer, you realize that just under 32,600 titles sell anything that actually turns out to be a whole number that registers in the sales, which more importantly means that 87,400 of the titles in the top 50% make less than $1 a day.
I can't live on less than $1 a day.
Yes, that's just scary. They make less than $1 a day. What that means is out of the almost 4 million ebook titles, only 32,600 of them make more than $1 a day. The truth is, Amazon doesn't market your books. They distribute your books. They will promote a book that's ready if it's already generating revenue for them, but they don't market books or authors. In an article titled "The 10 Awful Truths About Book Publishing," we learned several shocking things, some of which we've already discussed, but the big realization is that most book marketing today is done by authors, not by publishers. Publishers have managed to stay afloat in this worsening marketplace only by shifting more and more of the marketing responsibility to authors to cut costs and to prop up sales. In recognition of this reality, most book proposals from experienced authors now have an extensive, usually several-page section on the author's marketing platform, what the author will do to publicize and market that book. Publishers still fill an important role in helping craft books to succeed and making books available in sales channels. But whether the book moves in those channels depends primarily on the author. That means that the authors have to be responsible for marketing themselves and for marketing their books.
Marketing themselves?
Yep, and their books. Due to the high costs and heavy competition, publishers don't do as much marketing of books as they used to. So it doesn't matter if you're an indie author that's self-published or a traditional published author, authors have to be responsible for marketing themselves and their books. So that brings us back to the question I told you we'd try to answer. Why do some books sell thousands while others only exist in the virtual cobwebs of cyberspace? Well, I believe that there are two reasons. First of all, the book must offer value to the reader. It must be marketed well enough for the reader to trust the value to exchange their money and their time for that book. The value that romance readers are looking for is entertainment. Entertainment that stimulates them intellectually, emotionally, and for some, they're even looking to be stimulated sexually. I feel really sorry for the guy in this picture. It's hard to compete with some of the book boyfriends you gals write.
Hey, you're never going to compete with my book boyfriend, so may as well just give up now.
Ouch. Well, that's true. Those guys are perfect, and we're not quite there yet. The larger the audience that's interested in the value of your story, the better your chances of success. Now, I can't help you with that, and I won't tell you how to write a good book that gives value to the readers. That's your problem. That's the author's problem.
Yeah, but you can help them with marketing like you've helped me and like you've helped your doctors and lawyers and your clients that you work with.
That's true. I have helped lots of doctors and lawyers and other business professionals with their marketing. Marketing is simply showing the value to the reader or the potential customer enough to get them to buy your book. Your value will help you stand out from the crowd, and I can help you market that value. But I don't have as much time to invest in your author friends marketing as I do in yours. So, AJ, some of the people that are on here may not know much about or anything about us. So why don't you take a second and tell them our story really quickly?
Okay. I did tell the story in great detail when we did our beta launch of Radmar. And if anybody is watching today that would like to view that, you can go to romanceauthordigitalmarketing.com /7 things webcast, and you can hear the whole thing. But a quick synopsis of our story was in October of 2012 when I was working a 9-to-5 job outside of my home. I decided to try my hand at writing a romance novel after having my opinion challenged over a popular trilogy. I was pretty much mostly finished with the book when I realized that I had absolutely no clue what to do next. I didn't know how to get it published. I didn't know, what the deal with marketing was. I was pretty much lost. And I was almost too afraid to tell Brad what I'd been doing because I didn't want him to laugh at me or think I was an idiot. But I was pretty surprised when I got up the courage and told him what I'd done. And his response was, well, that's okay. I'm sure we can self-publish on Amazon and see how it goes. And then he rolled over because I told him right before we'd gone to bed. He just rolled over and went to sleep like it was no big deal. And I was so excited at that point that we were actually going to publish my book that I couldn't sleep. And there he was just snoring away. So the next day, his business mind kicked into gear and was going at full speed. And as I was trying to get ready for work, he was drilling me about market research and demographics and market size and target market. And he just kept on wanting more and more information. And he was really pretty frustrated with me when I didn't have any answers for him. I felt like truly an amateur, which I was, and completely overwhelmed. But by the time I got home from work that day, he'd spent his day doing market research and was really pretty excited about the prospects of publishing the book. And, it was pretty cool.
Excited? No, I wasn't excited by a book. Maybe I was optimistic. Let's talk a little bit about the romance novel statistics that I learned on that day. According to the Romance Writers of America, RWA, there are 64.6 million romance readers that will spend $1.08 billion a year on books, and 46% of them are regular consumers of romance novels. Her target demographics were married women 35 to 55, and they make up approximately 40% of that market and consume a large part of that market share. So we just needed like 1% of that market and we'd be wealthy.
Well, we're still working on that 1%. But anyway, to go back to my story, we put together a marketing strategy, put the finishing touches on the book, and then we published on November 17th of 2012 with the sequel to the book, First Class to Portland, that would follow in December, just 3 weeks later. And it was just in time for Christmas, and all the women who got e-readers, smartphones, and tablets as gifts for Christmas. After, let's see, so 6 weeks later in January, at the first of the year, I was able to quit my job and have been writing full-time ever since. And I feel truly, truly blessed to do what I love to do. And if you want to hear the full story, you can go to romanceauthordigitalmarketing.com/7 things webcast. And then you can get the long-winded version of that.
So by November 2013, she'd written and published 9 books in that series, plus a bonus novella, which we put together in a box set to sell to the romance readers.
Yeah, I was really tired at the end of that year. But then the next year, in October of 2014, I made the USA Today bestseller list with that box set. And now I've got my sights set on the New York Times list.
Yes, dear, I'm working on that.
I know you are. We have been extremely fortunate. My book, First Class to New York, could have disappeared into that Amazon black hole of books that make less than $1 a day. But all of the hard work that we put into creating and implementing a marketing strategy paid off, and it is still paying off and building momentum towards our goal of that 1%.
And that's true. And the important thing is that we've learned a lot along the way, and a lot of what we learned can help others. And I have an idea on how we can all work together to sell more books, and I'm actually doing something about it. We've learned that authority and content marketing are the keys to standing out and being found in the search results. We've learned that having a strong author platform to cross-promote and share content is vital.
Yeah, we've also learned that it's not as easy as it was 36 months ago when we published for the first time, and 175,000 less romance novels ago. I mean, that's a lot less books to compete with. We've learned that other romance authors aren't the competition. I think that needs to be repeated. Other romance authors are not the competition, but other forms of easy entertainment are, like TV, movies, YouTube, podcasts, or other time commitments such as being taxi mom, running kids to soccer, baseball, every other sport, dance class, karate class, computer lab, etc. Careers, being a housewife, being responsible for the housework, you know, being a wife and mother and having to be Wonder Woman all the time have slowed the consumption of our products. We need to make our industry fun and simple again, and then offer more value to compete with every other choice a woman has to make. Again, we're not competing with each other as authors. We're competing with the other choices of women.
That's true. And everyone on this webcast has a dream of being and living the best-selling author lifestyle, when they can work from wherever they want. They can travel the globe, and they have an endless stream of money flowing in their bank account. Everyone on this webcast except for me. I want to build the most powerful romance novel marketing system ever created that helps people get to that best-selling author lifestyle. The system would focus on using time-tested principles of authority and content marketing. We would need to elevate every author's marketing platform. This system would drastically improve an author's chances of having their works found by romance readers that are looking for their books to consume them. It would shine a spotlight on them, help create their credibility as authors, and help provide a forum for them to cross-promote each other. It will be an impressive machine when I finish building it. Would you guys like to look at the parts that I'm putting together to build this machine before I show you how the machine works when I get the engine fired up? Would you like to see the parts?
I would.
Okay.
Even though I've seen them before, I love to see this stuff.
Some articles state that over half of the books sold in 2014 were sold online, but I couldn't actually find any hard data or any numbers to support that. But we do know from the research that Amazon posted that they sell 67% of all ebooks online, 64% of all new books printed online in 2014, for about an average of 65% of all books sold online in 2014.
And that's paperback and digital copies.
That's correct.
Okay.
That means we must build our system in the digital media in order for it to be effective. Plus, we just can't afford to market our books in any traditional media. Let's face it, a nationwide newspaper, radio, or TV campaign would just be too expensive, and it would consume all of our profit margin. The good news is that I've been a digital marketing strategist since 2010, and I've been studying digital marketing since 2007 when I built my very first website. So let me show you what we put into our romance novel marketing machine. The first component would be SEO, otherwise known as search engine optimization. It will have to be the core of the system to help active buyers find your products. About 18 months ago, Google changed its algorithms and started rewarding sites that have lots and lots of keyword-rich content. So content is king. So we need a lot of content. You need regular, relevant, and new content on the site just to stay ranked. Your content needs to include text, images, and video. And we don't have time for me here to go into an SEO course. Plus, it would bore AJ and all of her friends to death. So I'm just going to tell you that, search engine optimization is going to be important to your success as an author. Credible backlinks will be crucial to our success. Black hat SEO marketers have invested thousands of dollars and hundreds of man-hours to build what they call private blog networks, to build a network of backlinks, only to have Google shut them down for cheating because they're trying to cheat the Google system. Our system would have credible author website network that would be necessary to build the kind of backlinks that Google wants to see, so that all of the websites in the network would be elevated. Social media would play a big part in this machine. Using social media will help authors elevate their author platform. The system will have to be social media friendly, making it easy and fun to share content. So that we can create those Web 2.0 backlinks and generate social signals to support our search engine optimization effort. All of this is working together to build our author social media network. The system must incorporate the best and most recent email marketing tools to build a list of romance readers. It must serve to keep us connected to the readers, offering interesting and fun information that they want to know about, that they want to know about you, and that they want to know about your books. It must support and promote a romance reader and romance writer community. And it must be done together so that we can disperse the costs among the group so that we can have cost controls. And then we can build our author email marketing network. With the majority of the digital content being consumed in the form of video these days, the system must make it easy and fun to do video marketing. Video is SEO friendly and can be produced within our author community. That'll help us to control costs and to build our author video marketing network. This system must be mobile friendly. With 1.75 billion smartphones sold last year, 263 million tablets sold last year, and 7.8 million e-readers sold, this platform must be mobile responsive, especially since a majority of our products are being purchased and consumed from these devices. We must incorporate and use the digital press releases and syndicate them to build author authority fast and with minimal effort. Press releases are search engine and social media friendly, while building extremely powerful backlinks to your digital assets. Plus, if we work together and we're purchasing the distribution and syndication as a community, we can greatly reduce the cost of syndicating press releases. So, do you like the way that looks? How do you think we build this romance novel marketing system? Well, I actually have a 10-step blueprint. Let me show you the steps. Step 1 is to create an organization like Romance Authors Digital Marketing Co-op. Done. We started that back in September. Is that when we launched our beta test with a few of our closest author friends, AJ?
It might have been August.
Yeah, it was end of August, 1st of September. And so that's done, and it's been going on for a few months now, and we've learned a lot from the test, and we've got some of the bugs worked out. So step 1 is already done. Step 2, we need to find a group of like-minded authors who want to sell more books and who are willing to work together and learn together for the good of us all. And you know what? We're doing that right now, right here on this very webcast. We've got a whole bunch of like-minded authors online, and we're working together to build this step.
Okay, so then the question would be to those of you listening right now and watching this webcast, do you have a friend or a colleague or a peer that could benefit from this too? Do you know someone that you would want to work alongside to make great things happen for you and for them? If you do, please type yes into the chat box. I can think of a bunch of people that I think would really benefit from this. In fact, I'm I've actually got a couple of my buddies that were in the beta test. So yeah, type yes if you think that that's something that if there's people you know.
Don't be shy. We've got a whole lot more people, according to the attendance roll, joining us on the webcast and are actually typing in the chat box. So don't be shy. If you have somebody that you'd like, that you think should be a part of this change in the way we're doing business, just let us know that you know somebody that you'd like to work with, and then we'll just move on to the next step. So step 3, there we go. Step 3 would be to create a system to train the authors or to train someone on their team to build their digital marketing platform. That's done. This is your digital marketing training center, and it's available to all RADMAR members. Now, what's a RADMAR member? Well, RADMAR is short for Romance Author Digital Marketing Co-op. So we have a really rad name for our RADMAR members. I know that's pretty bad, right? I like it. But anyway, so to be part of the RADMAR community, you have to be a progressive author and progressive PA who wants to work together to learn how to sell more books online. Let's face it, most authors don't want to be digital marketers, but they also know that they have to have someone on their team that has to be their digital marketer. So if you're like AJ, she just wants to know just enough to make sure that it gets done and gets done right, but she doesn't want to know how to do it herself. So you can learn the basics here, and then you can have your personal assistant go through the training on the course so that they can do your digital marketing for you. And we've made it easy and fun. In section 1, you'll find the Fast Start Tour, the 7 things you must have webcast, which we created to launch the beta test, your featured author form, and 2 bonus modules that we learned that we needed to add to the training from what we learned from our beta group. In the core fundamentals section, you'll find the things that you need to have to set up your basic digital marketing platform. These are just the basics, and we're going to be adding a step-by-step checklist to that very, very soon. We're working on it right now. In the advanced digital marketing, we have everything you need so that you can understand how it all works together. And this section is still only partially populated, and we're adding more to it very regularly. We're adding to it regularly, but there's a lot of great information in this library already. And for the really, really, really go-getters, we have 2 things that are coming up, 2 tools that are coming up that'll be available very soon. The first one will be a marketing mastermind group. This is where authors with similar marketing skills or career development goals or writing in similar genres can work together to learn and cross-promote and grow their share of the romance market industry. And then the next section, the tool that we'll be adding is the Do It With Me scheduler. No, this is not for lonely authors who need some attention. This is for real go-getters who want to work side by side with me online to complete a project or overcome an obstacle. At $484 an hour, most of you can't afford to hire me to do it for you. Even AJ can't afford to hire me for that, but she pays me in a different kind of currency.
Okay, let's just move on.
For RADMAR members, she will rent me out at a significantly reduced rate to work on their projects while they learn how to do it for themselves. By doing it with me, you can work with confidence because I'm right there watching over your shoulder until you're self-reliant. This training center is awesome, and it's only going to get better as we move along. Step 4, create a digital marketing command center to collect, distribute, and rank in search results and to help build our list. Well, this one started. This is the I Love Romance Novels homepage. As you can see, it's designed to be the center of our network and to show up in the search results. I've been aging this domain like a fine wine for about 2 years with regular keyword relevant content posted on it. As you can see, we've got all the big money keywords for the industry built right into the title. It's time to start driving this website hard and to drive it to the top of the rankings. And it's time to start populating it with your content and your backlinks. As you can see on the left sidebar, it's designed to support our weekly romance author webcast. This will help engage readers and help create a fun, easy content that we'll have to share. The right sidebar is set up to promote featured books or books that are on discount promotion for Radmar members. And you'll see that right above the fold here, we have one of many tools that will help us build our email list. This Save My Seat button will help us to collect an email list of romance readers and build our list. This next slide is a side-by-side view of two of the pages in our I Love Romance Novels online website. The first one here is here in the Romance Novel News. This is where some of the Radmar members have published video interviews announcing new book releases. And in the bottom one, we have a group of authors that work together to publish a book which they're using to raise money for for Christmas for a children's hospital. So that makes it in the Romance Novel News. In the other page, you have a sample of the free download page. And on this page, you can see that there are two authors. One's a contemporary author and the other one's a paranormal author. And they're talking about the fact that they've got their books on a free discount to generate excitement and sales. You'll see that the sidebars are already set up so that they can be used to so that they can be set up to market any of the members' books that are on sale. And it's also set up for keyword search and for recent posts and by category so that it makes it really, really easy for the users to find your information on this site when they're looking for their next book to read. And all this is waiting here right now for you to start putting your information on. Of course, we've got this page supported by social media. We've already set up a Google Plus community, a Facebook page, and a Twitter profile to help get that information on that site out over social media. So step 5, help authors create and syndicate press releases to build authority and backlinks to their digital assets, and to buy press releases in a bulk rate so that we can lower the cost. This is done. Press releases play an important part of our digital marketing plan. And to respect your time, I'm not going to go into it in depth here. But we do go in depth in it into press releases in the training center. And I've explained why we use them in the 7 Things webcast. So if you want to go to that romanceauthorsdigitalmarketing.com/7 Things webcast, you can watch that and see why we like to use press releases so much. And you can do that before you get access to your membership area. But what I've done is I've gone out and I've negotiated a great price for Radmar members. This is a screenshot of one of the top press release syndication sites. And they don't offer any better distributions than the 2 sites that we'll be working with. I've used free sites and gotten no results. I've used very expensive sites, paid $500 to $800 a pop for a press release, and gotten so-so results. But the 2 services that I've negotiated with, we've been working with them for over a year now, and they're getting us great syndication, and we're showing up really, really well in the search engines. And I've gone through and I've negotiated a price of $75 per press release when I buy a dozen or more press releases a month. I was paying this same company $250 for each press release. So this, and I thought that was a really good deal. So this is an awesome deal. As part of the Radmar membership, you get one press release every 90 days as part of your membership. Why? Because for this system to work optimally, I need you, the author, publishing news about you and your books. So I've made it a no-brainer for you to do at least one press release a month. Now, if you're going to do this same strategy outside of Radmar, it's going to cost you $1,000 a year, the $250 that I was paying for a press release prior to this agreement. So it would cost you $1,000 a year to do what we're doing inside the Radmar group. Now, I try to do at least one press release a month for AJ. Sometimes I do 2 or more when I can. You can do a press release as often as you want as a Radmar member for only $75. And that will help you save even more money while you're driving your authority and your celebrity status as hard as you want to with this tool. Now, step 6. Author webcast interviews to create video content to use on your website, to use on your social media, and to use on your Amazon author page and other places you may want to put it. This is done. Build into the Radmar membership. We're going to do one free romance author interview every 90 days so that you can talk about your new book, the author event you're going to, cover reveals, revive old sales from last year's books with an anniversary interview. If you think your fans will be interested in that topic, we can interview you about it. Then you can pull the quotes right from the interview to use in your press release. Just pull them right out of the transcript. I call this my Google Plus YouTube press release whammy. And I do this all day long for my doctors and lawyer clients. And I charge them $250 per interview. Now, I've had some of my clients that have done a weekly interview with me. That's weekly, 52 in a year, so that they could build a strong library of keyword-rich content. And you can do yours and save $1,000 a year through the Radmar program. Step 7 is to build an email marketing list using software that has the best autoresponders and uses social media opt-in, has social media opt-in. That's done. We've already got a list of about 2,000 plus romance readers, and we're aiming at our first 100,000. Then we're going to shoot for 1 million. Access to this software is included in your membership so that you can create your own mailing list of fans so that you can message them when you'd like to, when you have some news you want to share with them. We also will add them to our general list of romance readers so that we can build a big list fast, so that we can promote, author events, book releases, book discounts, and we can promote as a co-op and get lots and lots of romance readers. Other similar services can be expensive. MailChimp is one of the cheapest out there, and it'll cost you $20 to $35 a month just to have a very, very, very small list. Aweber is one of the most popular systems out there, and it starts at $30 and goes up from there. And of course, GetResponse, well, they want $65 to $450 to have a list the size of a list that we want to build. So this service that we're using allows you to capture their email right from Facebook or Google+, just like we do on AJ's website. See right down here, we have the sign up from Facebook button. This is wonderful because people don't use fake email addresses for their social media sites. So we have a real way to contact those romance readers. Step 8, Make website hosting and a WordPress blog site with a mobile responsive template available to authors who do not already have a useful website. This is done. This came about from our beta test. We learned that some of the authors didn't have a useful website yet, and they needed help with this. Now, one of the authors in a Facebook romance group that AJ and I are a part of keeps pushing Wix sites for romance authors. And every time I see it, it makes me cringe because her site doesn't show up in any search results for any romance industry keywords other than her name. And when you search for her name, her website shows up on page 2 behind, Amazon and Goodreads. And so it just really bothers me that we do that. So what we've done is we've negotiated a way to do this. So we can add you to the Love Romance Novels Online domain and set you up an account that gives you 100% access with a mobile responsive site. And this we can do for just a little bit extra than the Radmar membership. Now, the reason this isn't included in your membership is because we found that most of our memberships don't need it. They already have some form of a website that they really like to use and that they're comfortable with, and they don't need something different. And that's great. But since every author to be part of our network needs to have a website, we've made it easy for those that are struggling to get theirs up done. And we're doing it at half the price of Wix's very, very top product. So step 9. Live weekly author webcasts with contests and prizes to help build engagement, to elevate the author status, and to have fun with our fans. Well, this one's a not yet. With only a dozen authors in our beta test, we just don't have a large enough pool of authors to set up each week to draw from to staff a panel of authors. And we also don't have enough revenue yet to get any really cool prizes. So with this open enrollment, I envision us being able to launch this part of the Radmar program in January of 2016. This will serve to drive engagement and to build our list while making it entertaining and fun and creating useful content that the authors in our network can share. So step 10. Add Google News software to our website so that our press releases, author events rank in Google News from the Love Romance Novels Online.com site. This is also a not yet. This will drive a ton of traffic to our site and create a ton of exposure for our content. But the licenses for this software is $500 a year. And we haven't quite generated enough funds to make that investment yet. The goal behind the Radmar program is to reinvest the membership dues into the site. And then as we grow, hire some staff to help us manage it. And then we want to step up and do some pay-per-click advertising. We want to do some Google ads. We want to do some other things that will help us drive contests, and then have more and more contests with bigger and bigger prizes to create more and more buzz about the authors that are in this program. Also, it'll help keep them engaged so that they'll want to open emails that are from us. So these are the 10 steps that I have lined out, and this is just phase 1. So the big question is, why do all this work? Why should I do all this work? Well, the simple answer is to sell more books for Radmar members. This is going to be a lot of work and a lot of time, but it has to happen. It has to happen so that I can sell more of AJ's books. I'll be honest with you right now. If I could do this without working with a whole bunch of other authors, I would. But I can't. I just can't create enough interesting, fun, and useful content to compete in the search engines with, Amazon, Goodreads, some of the big blogs. I just can't create enough content to compete. I mean, you know, with just one author and 15 books, I mean, heaven knows I've tried for the last 3 years. You know, I've done a ton. And 3 years ago, I had AJ branded on page 1 of Google, Bing, and Yahoo for new contemporary romance author, for new contemporary romance novel. And no one had ever even heard of her yet. Back then, because of the way we named AJ's first book, First Class to New York, Book 1 Contemporary Romance Novel Series, we showed up in almost every search online. New romance book, new romance novel, new romance series. We showed up everywhere. It was easy to sell books when everybody was seeing us in the search results. But since then, Amazon has changed the way it does tags. It's changed the way it's done categories. It's changed its algorithm. Google has also changed their algorithm about a half a dozen times since then. So to rank in a search now, I would have to write a blog post every day, a press release every day. And what am I going to write them about? Contemporary romance author brushes teeth while reading romance book. Romance author eats PB&J while reading romance novel. I
Hey,
mean,
how about while I'm writing a romance novel?
sure, we've done that one. The Day in the Life of Contemporary Romance Author A.J. Harmon. We've done that one. So there just isn't enough content for me to write about with just one author. Yet, every time we seem to get a few of you gals together, life gets really interesting really fast. I mean, you guys never seem to run out of things to talk about, right?
That's true.
So then there's the cost sharing aspect. If I was going to go out and buy a $500 software license for a website, I would have to sell over 1,000 new books before the next credit card bill statement came due. But if I use that same tool to help 100 authors sell more books, they each only have to sell 5 more books to cover that cost. So the revenue sharing or the cost control sharing is a big benefit of being part of the Radmar Co-op. And as much as I'd like to do it without you, I just can't do it without you. And as much as you'd like to, you can't do it without someone like me. I mean, I've spent 9 years studying digital marketing, and with someone of my skills, well, I charge between $300 to $500 an hour, depending on my contract. So you have to ask yourself this question: do you have 9 years or thousands of dollars to invest in your digital marketing for your book? So it's time to ask the question, what if? What if we worked together to create an army that was promoting and reporting on the romance industry? What if we had an army of romance authors working together to make romance novel marketing fun and sexy again? What if readers could find your work because you were regarded as an elite and influential member of the romance writing community? What if you could sell more books tomorrow than you're selling right now? This is the answer to what if. Let's talk a little bit about what some of the beta members have to say about their experience with the Romance Digital Marketing Co-op over the last few months.
Okay, well, my friend Shelley says, thank you, Brad. I really appreciate your help and knowledge. I'm excited to see my first press release.
Would you guys like to see our first press release? Well, here it is. SM Stryker put out this press release. She didn't have a lot to pull from in her images, so we just used a simple, her author bio image. Not the best, but it works good. We've got a wonderful headline with her keywords right in the top. It's simple. We're talking about her first year anniversary, and it's set up, and it has, you know, social media right down the side of it. It's just wonderfully set up and ready to go for her. So let's see what somebody else has to say.
Okay, so this is from Gretchen. I like that we have the videos. I need step-by-step instructions for things, so those suit me perfectly.
And here's her press release. Now, Gretchen did a great job. She got a ton of views. I mean, a ton of views the first 48 hours her press release was released. I don't know what keyword it was that we hit perfectly. I don't know if it was the urban fantasy author or the first contemporary romance or her name, or I don't know what it was, but it showed up a ton of times in the first 48 hours after it was released. And she used one of the tricks we talk about in the training center. She went to a live event and she helped create some digital media from that live event. That's one of the lessons in the training area. So she did a great job with that, and she had wonderful results from her press release.
Okay, this is from Susan. I love Radmar and the fact that we're learning, not only through your videos, but you're there to help and answer questions. Oftentimes with learning online, one doesn't have a person they can contact or talk to about the program or to ask questions in general. And you're teaching us things many indie authors wouldn't even know where to begin. Case in point, the press release. Thanks for launching this program for us. Cheers.
All right. So here's Susan's press release. Boom. SB Alexander. Now she followed another trick out of the training center. She took some of the information that she put in her press release. She took it right out of the headlines. This young lady made the cover of Sports Illustrated. And so she kind of dovetailed her press release into the news about this young lady because her book was a romance novel about a young woman who played baseball. It was great. She did a wonderful job, and she got lots and lots of views from this press release. So I do have to be honest with you. One press release isn't going to change the world. Have you seen that TV commercial about the one sit-up or the one blueberry or the one broccoli floret won't make you healthy? Well, it's the same thing with one press release. That's why AJ and I have done dozens and dozens of them over the last 3 years. They do make a difference because they get syndicated, shared over other news networks. We get a clip report for every press release that shows us where our press release has been syndicated. Look at where SB Alexander's press release went. It went to the Boston Globe, the Miami Herald, and the Olympian, a Northwest newspaper for a Northwest author. But her press release was shared coast to coast in the news. But it didn't stop there. An Irish blogger picked up her press release, and it shows up on page 1 of Google. And it's also was shared around social media. This social media post right here shows up on a page 1 in a Google search. So it's very exciting what you can do with press releases. Now, when you go on Google and you Google author AJ Harmon, you'll find that 14,300 results will show up. And that's 14,300 more chances for somebody to find her book. Now, that's why we've done so many press releases, because they get syndicated and they show up all around. Now, we can go 10 pages deep into the search. So here we are, 10 pages deep into the 14,000 results for AJ Harmon. And we find that this one's a press release, this one's a press release, this one's a press release, and the other ones are book reviews from book bloggers. So it helps to create a lot of content so that your work can be found. Now, press releases are just one of the many, many sexy things that are out there to market your books through the Radmar program. So let's take a moment and let's do some math. If you only use 3 things out of Radmar, the email marketing system, the webcast interviews, and the press releases, you'll save yourself a lot of money. You'll save about $50 a month or $600 a year on email marketing. You'll save $1,000 a year on the webcast and $1,000 a year on the press releases. So you'd spend $2,600 just to duplicate what we've already got available for you in Radmar. But wait, you still need someone on your team that knows how to do your digital marketing. So if you were to buy courses for your personal assistant to learn digital marketing from Udemy, Udemy is an online training academy, and they usually charge, between $59 and $199, but it averages about $99 per course. And we have 21 courses or modules that are already recorded or that are scheduled to be recorded for the Radmar member. So that means to get the same amount of information and training for your personal assistant, you would have to spend $2,079 for digital marketing training that someone on your team needs. So that means we've got $2,079 plus $2,600. So that's a total of what? $4,679 just to get what you would get out of the Radmar program. So this is what everyone should do right now. You should just write me out a check for $4,679 so that you can join Radmar right now at this moment.
Okay, but you'll have to wait to deposit it.
Well, that doesn't work, does it? Why doesn't that work? How many books would you have to sell to cover that investment? But I have a question for you. Do you believe that being part of the Radmar Co-op will help you sell more books? Do you believe that? If you believe that, go ahead and type yes into the chat box. Go ahead.
I typed yes.
All right. We've got a lot more viewers than are typing, but that's okay. It's okay if you're being a little shy. So all I have to say is me too. I believe that we can sell more books working together in the Radmar program. I mean, this is the exact same marketing strategy I've been using for 3 years to market AJ's books. So do you believe that you could sell one more book a day by being part of the Radmar program? That would be 30 books a month. So do you believe that you could sell 30 more books a month if you were part of the Radmar program? Now, if you're one of those authors that's been stuck in that Amazon black hole that's making under $1 a day, that probably almost feels impossible to you. But I can tell you that it's not. You can come out of that black hole. Could Radmar help you sell 30 more books a week? Could Radmar help you sell 30 more books a day? Could being a member of Radmar help you sell 30 more books an hour? Selling 30 books an hour is fun. I mean, we've done it. It's a blast. It's a lot of work to set it up just to create that perfect storm, to create that feeding frenzy. And it takes a ton of energy to sustain it, but it's fun to do for, 1 or 2 days a year. It's a blast. So do you believe that Radmar could help you do any of those things? Now, the FTC or the FCC, I can't remember which alphabet soup it is, won't allow me to promise you any minimum monetary results from this program. But I wouldn't do that anyway. And that's not because it's against the law, but because I have no control over whether or not you'll even do anything with the tools and knowledge that's found in Radmar. I also have no control over the value in your book. We can sell a bad book to a few hundred people, but after that, we're pretty much dead. So I have to ask you, is your book good enough? Is your book worth investing some time and some money into Radmar to help you market it? If the answer is yes, you can click the button on the side of your screen to join us today. Now, I've made this as easy and as fun as I can. I've worked hard to control the cost and yet still get us results. The only reason not to join us is if your book just isn't, your book or books just isn't worth the investment. Now, a Radmar membership is only $47.97 a month. That's less than $600 a year for what we decided was over a $4,600 investment. And that wasn't counting all the other things that we have in Radmar. That was just the 3 or 4 top things that we had. So if you're selling your ebook on Amazon for $2.99, you'll receive what, about $2 per sale? So if we can help you sell one more book a day, this system pays for itself, and all the extra sales above that would be pure profit. It doesn't matter if you're a self-published indie author or if you're an author with a big 5 publishing contract. Adding Radmar to your marketing strategy is a no-brainer, and it can help any romance author. The only reason not to join is if you're not going to do anything with it, or if your book just isn't worth it. So if you'd like to join us and be part of our Romance Author Digital Marketing Co-op, just click the button on the side of your page. Or if you're watching this later in a recording, you can follow the link below in the description.
Where's the button, Brad?
For those that are viewing this in the live webcast, it'll be on the side of the screen that they're viewing it.
The right side?
I believe so.
Okay.
It's there. It's live. So let's open this up for questions. For those of you that are watching, we've got several of you that made it all the way through. Thank you. If you've got any questions about the program or any questions for AJ or I that you'd like to ask, go ahead. We'll stay on and answer them for you and help you decide whether you want to be part of this with us. We're excited about it. I don't know if you could tell from the presentation, but I'm super excited about what we can build here. And my goal is to get 100 members of the Radmar Co-op, to get like a half a dozen, in each of the different, so we'd have, historical romance authors, paranormal romance authors, contemporary romance authors, military romance authors. What are the other categories on Amazon? And we get all of those working together. So you're not competing with each other. You're assisting each other in selling more books and making romance reading fun and exciting again. Right now, they're just so overwhelmed with choices. I mean,
well, I said it during the webcast, and I'll say it again. One thing I have learned over the past 3 years is the authors are not competing against other authors. There are enough readers for all of us to get that 1%. I mean, there really is. I don't know of any reader who only reads one author.
Right. Well, if those 64.6 million romance readers, according to the Romance Authors RWA, if each one of them read 2 books a year, that would be all 129 million books that have been published. And we know that there are a lot of romance readers that read 2 books a month.
Or 2 books a week.
Yeah, so we know we're not competing against each other. What we're competing against is the other choices that they have, and they forget how much they enjoy the romance reading. But if we have a system that helps us keep, the progressive, the elite authors in the industry right in front of them, other than, paying through the nose to be in some website or on some websites and mailing lists, then we're all going to benefit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So no questions?
Doesn't look like it.
Well, we still got a dozen of you on. Thank you for being with us. Let us know what you think. Did you enjoy it? What do you think of the potential of the program? Go ahead and put that in the window. Well, Kim and Stephanie, I would like to thank you both, and Ellie, I'd like to thank you for being brave enough to type in the chat box. I know that you don't know who's on here, and so it takes a little courage to type. We appreciate your being part of this.
Okay, well, I think we're probably going to wrap this up then.
I think we will if we don't have any questions. Well, I must have done we must have done a very good job, AJ. We answered all their questions before they even got to them.
Sounds good.
Thank you all for joining us. Oh, you're definitely welcome. You are so welcome. And we appreciate all you do for us and other romance authors. Thank you for that kind comment. Okay, well, we're going to let you guys get back to your family. We're going to go eat dinner, get ready for the ice storm that's supposed to come through tonight. And thank you all for being here. And I'm excited to have you as part of the program. It's really going to be a lot of fun. And if you've got friends that you think should be part of this, you'll be getting an email with the replay link that you can just share with your friends. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope how many authors do we have now? Well, we launched it with a dozen in the beta group. That kind of was the break-even minimum for to buy the press releases, because I had to buy a dozen at a time. So I didn't want to launch it till I had a dozen authors. So we got a dozen authors in the beta group. There's another dozen authors on this webcast, and then there's another couple hundred on our mailing list. And I realized that we only gave you guys 3-4 days notice on this, so not everybody was available. So we'll I'm assuming that we'll pick up. I'm hoping to pick up another 50 authors between now and the end of the year. But I'd kind of like to cap it at 100 for the first probably the next 6 months, so the first 6 months of 2016, just so that we can get the workflow established. I think the program could handle, about 250, but not much more than that, because then we start creating the same thing with creating just confusion, because there's just so much information out there. Yeah. The reason that 100 is a magic number is that in a 90-day period, if we had 100 authors and each author wrote one press release, we would have 100 posts put out over 90 days. So that would help us have constant, regular romance news to keep the romance, to keep Google happy, and to keep the romance readers engaged with us. Because if there's new news every day, they have to come back to the site every day to get the new news. Yep. And of course, if every Tuesday, or we have a new romance webcast with where we're giving away gift cards or Kindles or whatever, if we get enough going, I'm going to go buy a case of Kindles or a case of Androids or something, Android tablets or something, and then we'll just give them away with other things on each broadcast, and just use that to build our mailing list. Phase 2 is when we get really exciting, because we'll have a mailing list of over 100,000, racing towards 1 million as fast as we can. And then when somebody puts out a new book, and we email it out to 100,000 active romance readers. I know there's one mailing company out there that's saying that they've got 1 million email subscribers, but they're not getting as big of results as they used to, because they're just not all active anymore. So that's the reason behind it all. Well, thank you all for joining us. Everyone have a great evening, and we'll see you in the membership area. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.